Hey, it's Joy. I've got big feelings about little things, and I want to talk about it. Oh yeah, I'm mad about it. And the fact that everyone else is not up in arms about it is a big part of the problem. Oh, I bawled my eyes out, like I always do. It was the sweetest thing. Oh, it was the cutest thing. It was the funniest thing. Thanks for being here. Let's go. Hey, thank you so much for being here. I am having really big feelings about generations today. So I know, okay, just follow me here. I was talking to one of my, I always call him my nephew, a kid that's really important to me. He's young. I was like, it's so cool that you are making your friends now. And if you get to stay with them over the years, you guys are going to see so much of the world from the same or very similar point of view. If you are a person like me that has long time or even lifelong friends, let me just say you are absolutely blessed. I had one on a couple of weeks ago. It was such a delight. I hadn't seen her in a while. And I'm going to be honest with you. I have big dreams about this podcast and about my big feelings and my little things. But if this turns into I'm grabbing every one of my friends and I'm going to bring them into the studio and we're going to chit chat about our lives, I'm completely fine with that because I'm doing that again this week. And I have my lifelong friend Craig with me. Hi, Craig.
Hi, Joy.
How you doing?
I'm great.
Good. And now I'm saying your name, Craig, but I always call you Honey. Mm-hmm. So I just want to get that out of the way.
We're just gonna get that in front of that today because it's gonna happen on both ways.
Yeah, you call me Honey as well.
1000%.
We always have. Not always, but since our 30s at least, we've called each other Honey. And we are not romantically involved. You're married.
I am.
But we have known each other for a long time and call each other Honey. So if you hear that, that's where that's coming from. I mean, that's just one of the baselines for this conversation. So thank you, Honey, for being here.
Absolutely.
I cannot thank you enough. It's hard to explain what generations and what that concept of growing up with somebody means. But I'm noticing now, as a person of my age, if I make a certain reference to a movie, a song, a concept, like the concept of a phone that was bolted to the wall and had a wire on it. A lot of those things are getting lost now because the people that I'm speaking to are too young to understand it, and it dates me. So to have someone in my life that understands, that can sing that same song to me, that can reference that same time period, that went through that event is so important because it makes me feel less lost in the world.
Agree.
Does that make sense to you? Like, it's not just, fun, he gets my jokes. It's, I'm not on an island.
I lived it as well.
Yeah. And I'm not crazy for whatever I thought. When I say little things, big feelings, little thing, oh yeah, ha ha ha, you get my joke, or you know that song from TLC.
Yeah.
No, it's that you, in a certain way, validate my experience because you experienced it as well.
100%.
And it's so necessary, especially as we're kind of entering midlife. I mean, that's hard to say and hard to hear, but that's true.
Well, here's how I would talk about it, because if I go back to when we were much younger,
mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're going to discuss our actual age and how long our friendship has been in existence, but if we go back a ways.
I mean, we can just be honest and say we've been friends for 40 years.
40 years, yeah. But
it's tough to swallow, but wow, right?
We said it earlier, but you say it again in this room, and I'm like, 40 years. But
and someone's recording it. It hurts.
It does, a little bit. But if you think about when we were much younger,
mm-hmm.
and the differences in how we did not relate to our parents and our parents' friends. In our group, we were around our families,
mm-hmm.
and it was our little group, and we understood each other. We had the same vibe going, and then the parents. And we didn't really understand the parents' world.
Yeah.
It's a very similar thing now, especially like in the workplace. That's where my mind goes here. The younger crowd, the millennials, that are in the workplace, we don't have the same experience. We don't have the same history. And it's hard for me to wrap my mind around. So if I talk to you or I talk to someone that grew up in that kind of same generation, it's a comfort. It's like, oh, they get it.
It is like a warm blanket. Like
they know what Friends is. They know how great Friends was and how much Friends was a part of our life.
And they don't look back and think, what is a voicemail? What is a answering machine? They're not distracted by those things because we understand that.
Sure.
It's funny, too, for me to look back, even on our friendship, I feel like has certain little points where I can look back and say, wow, that a little bit of history was happening there. So let's just do a quick background. So we met, when we were kids, 5 or 6.
5 years old.
5 years old, probably. We met at church.
Yep.
And then we also went to high school together.
Sure.
We didn't go to junior high together, right?
No, I was South Side.
You were in the South Side.
Yeah.
Okay, but then you came, okay, I got you. But we went to high school together and then we're friends and then ended up working together as well in our adulthood. So we have we have childhood, teenage years, and adulthood. We've had friendship for this long.
All on MacArthur Boulevard in Irving, Texas. Like we lived our whole life on that street. So
And I still kind of do in a certain way. So when I look back on our friendship, there was a time when we were like preteen, young, we were kind of flirty with each other because we were both kind of trying to figure out like, where are we in the world and who are we and what are we doing and what does it mean for me to like to talk to this person and what does it mean for me to, look for my person in the world. And during that time, what we called that back then was talking.
Sure.
We're talking. I have literally not one clue what the kids say today, and I'm not going to try to know. But we would say, oh, we're talking. Oh, me and Craig are talking. And you called me on the phone one night. This was like a big deal. You called me on the phone one night. I'm sure my mom picked up the phone because it
was a landline.
It was a landline. We all shared the same. That phone belonged to that family.
Sure.
Not to me. I don't have a phone for myself. We all 4 shared the same phone. So somebody picked up the phone. Craig said, hey, is Joy there? Hang on. Mom, whoever handed me the phone. Now, I did have a cordless phone, which was kind of a big deal at that time.
That is a huge deal.
Because I could walk in the other room and I didn't have to stand in the hallway. But I walked to like a back bedroom to talk with you. I remember this vividly. What we were talking about, not a clue. Who knows? Gerbeau jeans or something. I don't know.
I was going to say Michael W. Smith.
Yes.
DC Talk, something like that.
Something in that world.
Yeah.
But I remember this night very well because my mom and I were in the living room watching the Oprah interview with Michael Jackson when you called. Is that familiar to you at all?
The actual interview? No.
But you know both the people I'm talking about,
course.
and you know why she would be interviewing him.
Sure.
Yeah. So I stepped away from that. Now, in today's world, what would happen?
DVR, pause.
Exactly. Rewind that. I was talking to Craig. I want to see what happened.
Yep.
Or just open your phone the next day and see the high clips. Like, hey, what was the weirdest thing he said? What was the most crazy question she asked? Mm-hmm. That's exactly what happened on the Harry and Meghan interview. It was like you saw the top 5 moments. You don't have to watch an hour.
No.
We're going to split it up for you and show you the highlights. Well, I missed all that. So the next day, my friends literally had to say, well, she asked him this, and he kind of made this sort of face, and he said that, and I just had to like kind of put those pieces together in my mind. Now, let me just clarify, it was worth it, honey, to talk to you. I was so happy to talk to you. But that experience could never happen today. None of that could have happened today.
And if you try to explain that experience to someone that is not in our generation, they have the hardest time to even understand what you're saying.
They're so lost on it because it's like, why didn't you pause? Why didn't you this? Why didn't you that? And then it's like, I don't know how to explain that was not a thing.
Sure. I have a hard time believing that this time that we were speaking about, you didn't have the clear see-through phone in your room that you pick up. I clearly remember that you had all the inner workings, but they were colorful.
Yes, I wanted one of those.
I feel like you
so
had
bad.
that phone.
I think I had like a purple phone that had like a pink receiver.
Maybe.
I wanted the clear one, but I don't think I got that.
The fancy kids had the clear one.
Exactly. I will tell you what I did get one year for Christmas. I got as my own phone number. No, it wasn't a separate line. It was my own phone number. And when the phone rang, it would ring. Brr, 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 brr. So my parents wouldn't answer and they would know my friends are calling me.
Yeah.
And I would pick, that way they wouldn't have to worry about it. They wouldn't have to yell across the house, Joy, it's Jessica. I'd pick up my phone. And I thought I was it. I thought I was it.
Well, I mean, sure you
have
were
my own phone number.
What
basically.
else was going to be it for you? And it was a thing. It was always a thing that was going to be it. So I get it.
I actually did want a pager.
Oh.
But my mom said they're just for drug dealers and hookers.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't allowed to have that. But I wanted, that was the cool thing to have.
The first
Did
pager
you have
that
a pager?
I got it at Rent-A-Center. Rent-A-Center. Clearly remember it. They would sell them and you could pay whatever, I don't know, $2 a month. And you would just have it on your hip.
I was going to say there had to be a kind of service fee with it to
it was
get
cheap. But cheap enough and unregulated enough that a high school kid could go up there and just get one.
Well, sure.
Rent-A-Center.
Now, did people put their phone number for you to call back or did they type funny words in there?
The only thing that I remember is the funny words. And then it would buzz.
Same.
But then what were you going to do when it buzzed?
Go find a payphone?
Yeah. Go to the church office probably and say, hey, I got a call.
I have a very important call.
Very important.
What's it about? Oh, we got to go meet at the Grand to watch a movie somewhere.
I was going to say Crystal Pizza, but.
Crystal's Pizza.
Again,
See,
Irving.
But again, that's the thing that a friend of mine, when you say Crystal's Pizza.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
And I'm talking about a flood of memories.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I know about the pizza. I know about the breadsticks and the cheese. I know about the games there. I know about the decorations. I know about the pizza parties that I went to, the birthday parties I went to.
Yeah.
Going there after church, flirting with some guy over skee ball. Like it's not just the name of a business that you're telling me.
It's the memories.
You are bringing back so much nostalgia to me. It's like a wave.
I love it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. The other thing that when I look back on our relationship is you were the first person I ever knew that had an iPhone.
Wow. And I remember this.
We came a long way from that.
Yeah.
A long way from the clear phone.
This is when we're working together.
We were working together we were being salespeople, which you are very successful at. And I was like desperately clinging to having a paycheck. So I was doing that. We don't have to get into that, but thank you for that opportunity, by the way. But we were working. I swear we had the same job, but for some reason I didn't get an iPhone with it. And I literally remember you opening up the box and pulling it out and like explaining it to me.
Right.
I mean, my brain was like, wait, you can connect to the internet on that, was my thought.
Sure.
And you were talking about, it's got this app and that app. And I was like, but what's an app? And if you can get online, why do you need an app? And you, God bless you, you were like, well, sweetie, sweet honey, you don't have an app. You don't understand this. This is new technology. You got to have an app because whatever. I mean, obviously you were right.
And here's what I remember, and you're 100%. I remember explaining apps to you, and it was like this new thing, and it was, for you, it was such an eye-opening thing that was like, why do you need this?
Yes.
But for some reason, I have a memory, similar time, you were the first person that helped me get Facebook. And I remember, I was like, why do I need Facebook? What?
Oh my goodness. I remember that too now.
And we like set a profile up and put a picture.
Yes.
But I called you constantly or talked to you constantly and said, well, what do I do with it now?
What is poking?
Yeah.
Somebody poked me. What does that mean?
Clear memory of poking.
Yes, very clear memory of poking. Poking was, I'm going to help some young kids listen to this. So poking was like a thing that you could do, which I think was probably like a flirty thing.
Sure.
But it was like, oh, so-and-so poked you. And it was just a chance to kind of open up a conversation, but it was very weird. And gosh, I forgot that we did that.
We had that, but that's such an...
I set one up for my dog. I mean, it was all brand new.
Yes.
It was so brand new.
But it's generational to us.
Yeah.
We get it. We understand it. Our friends that grew up in that same upbringing get it in that time. But we say it on this this conversation right now and a millennial listen, they're like, these crazy old people.
So yesterday, no one's on Facebook anymore.
Yeah.
How, on a scale of 1 to 1,000, how grateful are you we did not have Facebook like in our teenage high school years? Because I go back and forth.
Well, you and I and our friend group, I don't know if it would have been as bad as some other groups that we might have went to high school with.
True. I was uptight.
And more, but yeah, sure. I don't want what we did in that time, out
blast
there
it all everywhere.
Sure.
That's fascinating. I forgot about that. And I definitely remember navigating those waters with you. And so it was really helpful because when something's new like that, you always have to have somebody to say, hey, okay, you unfriend me. I want to see what it feels like on this side, and I want to see on your side, what does it look like? You block me. I want to see. And then you type what is a private message versus a post versus this and that. And so it's nice to have a trusted person to kind of walk through that stuff with, because what does all that mean? It was all brand new to us.
Absolutely.
Oh, honey,
so good.
What a great memory
to kind of walk, because again, and I want to make sure that I'm being very clear in what I'm saying here. And I have nothing against millennials. I have a lot of millennials that I interact with day to day. This is not a millennial bashing session.
Thank you for clarifying.
But what I do want to say is, when you are having a moment, and we all have moments in our car, waking up in the morning, going to sleep at night, where we just need some familiarity, like we need something. Having this conversation and pulling back to those, I use friends a lot because that was our generation's holy grail, was Friends. And I'll see it on TV and I'll be like, that's so funny. I remember that memory. And then I go to talk about it next day at the office and they're like, what?
Yeah.
But having you there living that same memory that I hold very dear in my heart, because it's a fond memory. Having someone that can experience that same, yes, that was hilarious, is comforting.
And I think there's also so much more to it, because especially when you're growing up, that time is so confusing. You're literally learning who you are as a person, how you interact with other human beings. What is your place in life? What are these feelings? I mean, I don't know if you've seen Inside Out 2, but it's amazing. And I wish we had that when we were kids.
I do too.
But that was just us trying to figure things out together, as this little band of kids or whoever, and with our families. And so it's so deep. And I think you and I could say probably very few words to each other and really understand that means something so much more than just, oh, isn't that a funny Friends episode? Or remember that, The
last thing that I want to say on this topic is, when you meet someone new or you create a newer friendship, there's always that slight difficulty to get into the friendship. You and I could not see each other for 6 months, a year. We run into each other.
And the Kroger parking lot.
And we will sit there and we will talk and talk and talk and talk. And it's like we have been seeing each other every single day of our lives. And that's what I love about that generational growing up. These are my people. I love that about it.
I love it too. And I also love that I could just send you a quick text and be like, oh, holy crap, look who I ran into, or look who I talked to, and look how he's holding up. He looks great, huh? Or whatever.
Or not.
Whatever, yeah, exactly. Or whatever silly thing. It means the world to me that you would come here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you, honey.
Love you.
Thanks so much for listening to Little Things, Big Feelings with Joy Delaney. Do you have big feelings? Joy would love to hear them. Call and leave a voicemail at 214-519-9373. Thanks.
Oh, you have to say the number again.
Why?
In case they missed it.
They can just hit that button and rewind 15 seconds.
Okay, I guess, but what if they were getting a pen?
A pen? A pen? This is a podcast. It's all on your phone.
Yeah, but don't you still have to type it in or something?
That's not really how any of this really works. That's 214-519-9373. Is that good?
Thank you, James.